Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining me. My name is Rachel Imbrogno. I am the luxury manager for Freixenet Mionetto. Today, we are logging in with our 3.0 series in Pertinace with a focus on harvest and winemaking. I have two of my very good friends with me live. Cesare Barbero, who is the director and winemaker of Pertinace, and Elena Oberto, who is his customer relations manager. Welcome, both of you. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you to you.
Welcome.
Thanks for having us.
We'd love to learn more about Pertinace and the harvest. So let's go ahead. I'm going to give you the chance to speak. Thanks.
Yeah. First of all, thank you to Freixenet Mionetto to organize this webinar. Thank you, Rachel, Nick, and Michelle, to be here tonight with us and to support Pertinace in the US. So, our Cellar, as you know, is a cooperative. We are 20 growers actually. We just grown in with the 3 more growers before this last harvest, and we are located in Trezzo. Trezzo is one of the 3 small villages inside of the Barbaresco area. So we are in Piedmont. Piedmont is the region close to the France border, northwest of Italy. Pertinace is a cooperative born in 1973. My father was the founder of the cooperative with other 12 friends at the beginning, 1973. And actually, as I told you before, we are 20 growers. So we manage directly 110 hectares of vineyards inside and outside of the Barbaresco area. And people know us as a very, very traditional producer because we produce the wine in the very old style. So today we want to talk with you about the last harvest, and we focus especially with the harvest of the Nebbiolo. The weather in this season was pretty good, so we can score this harvest with very, very high score. And because we had a really good weather in the spring, so we had an early spring, very good, not too much rain, very good temperature, especially in April and May. And until the middle of August, we thought we had an early harvest because the grapes ripe so fast and in a so beautiful way. At the end, when we joined at the beginning of September, the harvest was, we started harvesting a quite regular period, so that means around the 10th of September. We are usual to pick grapes in a different period. It depends on the quality of the kind of grapes. So we usually start with the Moscato, that is the first grapes that is ripe. Then we have Chardonnay, Arnaise, Dolcetto, Barbero, and the last is the Nebbiolo for the Barbaresco. We produce the Nebbiolo Langhe, we are looking before the Langhe Nebbiolo, and then the Nebbiolo for the Barbaresco. We decide our winemaker, the enologo, Stefano, with his colleague Mauro, they're going in all the vineyards from all the growers, and they pick samples, so that means some part of grapes, to check the sugar and the level of ripeness in all the vineyard, and they decide in this way which vineyard they have to pick at first. And this is very helpful for us to be sure that we start the harvest in a really right period, when the grapes are at the top of the quality. And now Elena will tell you about something about and she will show you some videos about the harvest.
Yes, as Cesare said, in today's webinar we will review the stages of Nebbiolo from the vineyard to the winery. So we are just focused on Nebbiolo. That is the most important grapes we have here. So Michelle, you can go on with the first video, please. So we can talk about. As you can see, okay, we have a beautiful view, and it was also a sunny day, so we were very lucky. And as you can see, there's some red crates. We are using some red crates for picking the grapes. I mean, for store the grapes, and those are very important because in those crates the grapes can breathe, and we can also avoid earlier bad fermentations. And those are very nice container for the grapes. Michelle, can you share the next video, please? So here, as you can see, we are harvesting just by hand. So it's just hand harvested. Everything is just hand harvested. The reason why is because in this way we can collect just the best, pick just the best. If we have any kind of problem with the grapes, like some molds or something that is not completely right, we can clean the grapes, and so we can produce the wine just with the best production and the best grapes at all. So that's very important. And then, as you can see, hills are very steep, so it's also easier to pick by hand. So now we can go on with the next video, please. Okay, there's some flowers, as you can see, and the reason why is because we want to talk to you and explain the fact that we are sustainable. We got a certification as a sustainable agriculture with the 2018 vintage. You can see flowers, green grass, and then also butterflies that is flying around us in the vineyards. Be sustainable, we think it's very important for respect the land we are working, and also because it's very eco-friendly. We got the certification, and it means that we can use only specific products following a very restrictive calendar, and we are protecting pollinating insects like the bees and the butterflies because we need them. So we can go on with the next video, please. Here we are trying to show you how a grape of Nebbiolo is. It's quite big, and in this video you can really understand how healthy they are. 2020 vintage, as Cesare said, is it seems to be a super good vintage, very healthy, and we are very proud of it. So now I'm switching the microphone to Cesare, that he will explain to you the next step about the harvest and the winemaking.
Yeah, now we're gonna have some more videos. Those videos explain how we move the grapes from the vineyard to from the vineyard to the cellar. So after harvesting the vineyards in the basket, there's a guy with the telephone that usually put the basket inside of a small tank that is and they load this steel tank to bring the grapes until a bigger tractor. So all this part is always made by hand because it's the only way to do it. Then with the next video, we can see how we put the grape inside another tractor. So you can see we are a little far in this video, but you can see how the tractor fill a bigger tank with the grapes. We have a couple of videos of this. Now we are inside of one of our vineyards for the Barbaresco Classico. And the average altitude of this vineyard is around 270 meters. And there's a nice south slope in Trezzo. So this is another video where you can see how we, the video before, the previous video, number 7, yeah. How we can move at the end the grapes inside a big tractor. You can see how healthy are the grapes. They can almost rebound because they are very hard, very, very good. There's really a wonderful quality for this year. And the same is the same blue of our label, because it's a beautiful coloring for the Nebbiolo. Has the same blue of our label, the classic Oberto label. So after this, the big tractor with all the quantity of grapes, this is gonna be around 7,000 kilos of grapes inside of the big tractor. We move. We can bring all the quantity of grapes inside at the cellar, where we start the crushing process. But before, we have to check the quality of the grapes that are arriving in the cellar. And we have a special machine that is able to take samples from the mass of grapes. There's a kind of arm with a long finger on top that can take the samples from all the thick layer of the grapes inside the tank. I don't know if it's clear for you this video, but this finger arrives until the bottom of the layer of grapes, and in this way it can take really representative samples of this mass of this quantity of grapes. And so we take the juice. We put the juice inside of a bucket. This is a little manual part.
I was Gabriele.
And then the guy that put the juice inside of the bucket is the owner of the Marcarini Vineyard, the son of Aldo. That Aldo is a kind of boyfriend for Rachel. And with the juice, we put the juice inside of a machine that checks the level of sugar and the pH, so the acidity. In this way, we can decide a score for this quantity of grapes, and the grower will be paid in base of the score that we take. Okay. You see that the juice goes inside the bucket. And then probably there's another one video. When after checking the sugar and the acidity, we fill the grapes inside another bigger tank that transport the grapes to the crushing machine, and then we produce the juice that is pumped inside the fermentation tanks. We didn't find any differences between using this kind of process or using directly the basket to transport the grapes. So we did many trying in the past, but the quality of the juice and the wine was exactly the same. So we decided that this way to transport the grapes was faster and less expensive. And so we decided to still using this process and not use the transport with the basket anymore. And that's it for the.
Yeah, I saw that Mr. Douglas wrote on the direct messages that it seems hard work, the harvest. It is definitely. It is a hard work because our guys, our farmers are always starting very early in the morning. They work very hard to pick everything in the best way, to protect also the grapes during the moving the grapes to the winery. And but we are happy. It's a very, very happy moment, the harvest. So we can say that the harvest is done.
We just finished yesterday.
Yeah.
Yesterday we had the last collection of grapes yesterday afternoon. So now we have a couple of days of cleaning all the machinery, all the ponds that we use for the harvest. And then we just have to wait that the wine is done.
Yes.
If you have any question for us.
It's very cool. Thank you so much for showing us all the steps from the vineyard to the tractor to the winery. Feel like we're almost there. We do have a few questions. I was wondering if you ever have to declassify the Nebbiolo Cruz or the Nebbiolo Classico for the Barbaresco to go into the Langhe Nebbiolo, and when do you decide to do that?
Yeah, this could happen in just a very bad harvest. Usually we don't have to declass the grapes from Barbaresco to Langhe Nebbiolo, but in the past it's happened sometimes in bad vintages like 2002, 1994. They were the grape wasn't so healthy. Some of our grapes, they were good enough to produce Barbaresco. In the 2020, with the harvest 2020, we didn't have any problem about the healthy grapes of especially the Nebbiolo that was so good this year. And so I think this harvest is very similar of the 2016 for me, and so that means very rich and very balanced, because we have a really good level of acidity, good balance of sugar. For sure the wine is going to have an alcohol between 14 and 14.5, so high quality Barbaresco will be produced.
Great. And how much influence have in the cellar versus the vineyard?
So as I told you, we are 20 growers. We just we are 7 people in the cellar, between offices and cellar, and the 20 growers. There's some of them, they are just families, so father, son, brother, and they have small quantity of land, small amount of vineyard. Some of them are bigger and they have 2-3 employers. So total between the growers and the employers, we're gonna be around 50 people, more or less.
Okay, great.
About what you asked, sorry, was asking about the vineyard versus the winery also.
Okay.
The impact.
The impact is actually, my opinion is that 70% vineyard, 30% winery. In the past, the vineyard was 95% vineyard and 5% winery. Now, technology, modern process that we have. We are more focused on the quality from the vineyard we are more focused in doing well in all the process. So now that this is more balanced. So it's 70 to the vineyard, 30 to the winery. Now it's better than the past. Because we have no facilities in the past.
One final question regarding the Nebbiolo from La Mora for the Barolo. Is it harvested before the Barbaresco side, or what is the timing on that?
Usually Barolo ripe a little later. The Nebbiolo from Barolo ripe a little later than the Nebbiolo from Barbaresco. We are harvesting it in our the cellar that will help us for the Barolo in the next days, so this week. But this year the timing is almost the same, just few days later. Barolo usually is more than 10. And this year we had a really we thought we had as I told you before, we had a early harvest, but at the end we had the regular time of starting the harvest, but it was a short harvest because all the grapes they ripen almost at the same time. So we usually keep months or 6 weeks for the harvest. This year is less than a month.
Excellent. Well, Elena, Cesare, thank you both for your time today. It's been a pleasure to visit with you as always in the Langhe. I wish that we were all with you, but I appreciate your time and the detail and the lesson that we all had on harvesting. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for your time to organize this nice webinar.
Thank you. And of course, when the time will be better and we can also fly again, and we hope to have the possibility to welcome you here in the winery. So we're just waiting for you.
And vote well in November.